We are back with our midweek NFL DFS update, and we are shifting several spots from yesterday's core based on opponent grades, ownership, and what the news cycle is telling us quarterback. We are pivoting back to Jalen Hurts at 6,800 with a dash rank of 100 and a 22-point projection against Kansas City, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 29. This is a change from yesterday's Justin Fields play. Hurts is sitting at just 7.27% ownership, yet he's averaging 24 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 27, 20, and 8. The Week 2 quarterback rankings article underscores that top-tier dual threats remain premium plays, and Eagles coverage this week called out that fans should be very excited about what Hurts put on display in Week 1. Plus, the lightning delay in the opener was a reminder that outside factors can skew box scores, which helps keep ownership in check. His projection is reliable. Given his long starting history, we get tournament leverage at sub 10%, and the matchup grade is firmly in the green running back. We are moving back to Breece Hall at 6,200 with a dash rank of 100 and a 14-point projection against Buffalo, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 31. This is a change from yesterday's Christian McCaffrey anchor. Hall is coming in at 5.2% ownership with 20 fantasy points per game, and recent scores of 43, 28, and 20. News has reinforced elite talent signals, from best bets pieces highlighting the top running back projections this week to off-season features listing him among the most impactful, versatile workhorses. And there is even chatter about other teams coveting him, which underscores league-wide respect for his role. We are buying the matchup, the leverage, and the ceiling profile at a friendlier salary in a spot where the opponent grade boosts touchdown. Equity wide receiver. We are pivoting to CeeDee Lamb at 7,800 with a dash rank of 100 and an 18-point projection against the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 25. This is a change from yesterday's Malik Neighbors stance. Lamb is just 4.47% owned despite 21 fantasy points per game, and recent scores of 28, 44, and 11 Week 1 discourse poked fun at his drops. But that narrative often creates buying opportunities, and the national headlines around the NFL's wild opener reinforced that variance drove some of the box scores. We like the combination of sub 5% ownership, proven spike weeks, and a favorable opponent grade for a bounce-back tight end. We are returning to Hunter Henry at 4,000 with a dash rank of 100 and a 9-point projection against Miami, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 28. This is a change from yesterday's Sam Laporta stability. Henry's ownership is just 3.43%, and he's at 11 fantasy points per game with recent scores of 11, 0, and 0, which gives us volatility but also salary relief. Sportsline's tight end prop coverage this week featured Henry among the model's targets, and at this price in a soft opponent grade, he fits tournament builds where we want touchdown paths and differentiation. Flex. We are moving back to Garrett Wilson at 6,500 with a dash rank of 100 and a 15-point projection against Buffalo, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 31. This is a change from yesterday's James Conner leverage. Wilson is 8.8% owned with 23 fantasy points per game, and recent scores of 16, 10, and 23. The Jets' beat cycle includes an analyst's push for a trade to secure a true number 2 behind Wilson, which only reinforces his alpha status and consolidated target share. We like correlating this spot with our Breece Hall stance in game environments where the opponent grade can fuel sustained drives and red zone chances, defense and special teams. We are pivoting back to the Cardinals' defense at 3,400 with a dash rank of 100 and a 6-point projection against Carolina, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 28. This is a change from yesterday's Rams pick. Arizona is 6.87% owned with recent fantasy scores of 3, 2, and 5, and we expect pressure-driven opportunities against a young offense that has shown turnover tendencies. Salary is mid-range, ownership is manageable, and it fits builds that spend up at wide receiver. Quick value notes. Anthony Richardson at 4,700 draws Denver, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 1. He's projecting at 1 point with 0 ownership and recent scores of 31, 4, and 0 across his last 3 outings. News this week cites a rocky start and an anticipated return from a shoulder setback. So he's a large field dart only until we see proof of role and rhythm. Kyle Juszczyk at 4,000 faces New Orleans, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 17. Projected 3 points with negative ownership. He's a pure punt to unlock salary with gadget touchdown paths, but an extremely fragile floor. Tyler Johnson at 3,200 gets Buffalo, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 31. He's at 0.17% on ownership and 5 projected points with a recent 5. He correlates as a punt in Jets stacks. If you are leaning into that game, Connor Hayward at 2,500 draws Seattle, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 21, projected 1 point with 0 ownership. He's a thin salary saver only if you absolutely need the funds. Harold Fannin Jr. at 3,100 meets Baltimore, who have the absolute worst defense overall with an opponent rank of 32. He's projected 7 points at 0 ownership after a 14 last game, and camp reports plus draft capital coverage suggest the team wants him involved. He works as a cheap flex or TE pivot. Panthers defense at 2,300 against Arizona, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 18. Projected 4 points at 2.07% ownership, and recent scores of 0, 3, and 2. This is a thin savings pivot off the Cardinals if you need every dollar. Recap of changes from yesterday. We pivoted from Justin Fields to Jalen Hurts for a stronger opponent grade, lower ownership, and supportive Week 2 quarterback rankings, plus Eagles headlines backing his ceiling. We moved from Christian McCaffrey back to Breece Hall for leverage and a premium opponent grade that suits his explosive profile, highlighted across multiple RB features. We switched from Malik Neighbors to CeeDee Lamb to capitalize on sub-5% ownership in a favorable opponent grade. With elite spike history, we returned from Sam Laporta to Hunter Henry to embrace low-owned touchdown equity at a discount, supported by model-based TE prop coverage. We moved from James Conner back to Garrett Wilson to lean into alpha volume signals and a plus opponent grade, while correlating Jets pieces. We swapped from the Rams defense back to the Cardinals to target manageable ownership, pressure paths, and a salary that fits balanced constructions. If late week news moves roles or ownership materially, we will update again. But this is the core we are building around right now for tournaments and balanced builds.